Good morning, poppers. Say it back. Thank you. Welcome to Freshly Popped, a daily show examining pop culture headlines so you don't have to. Today is Thursday, March 12th, 2026, and I'm Sequoia Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Graham.
And today we're losing it over Kylie Jenner wanting more children, Rick Ross putting aside his beef with Drake, Billie Eilish's film acting debut, but first, the Love is Blind reunion happened last night. I just sped through it. I watched it on 1.5. I skipped past every time the audience was talking, every time they went to the audience with the microphone and talked to the audience, because I'm like, I don't care about none of that. It was an hour and a half and it didn't have to be, like usually it's too, like a reunion is too short. Yeah, because they don't end up getting like the Traders reunion.
Yeah,
exactly.
like they needed an extra 30 minutes. I'm like,
exactly. Traders needed way more time. It was too short, but Love is Blind had the opposite issue. It's an hour and a half. They got to everything that I needed them to get to, except for the Trumpiness of the season.
But they can't get to that because then that alienates an audience. Like,
they can't get to it, but they did mention it on the show. You know what I mean? So I'm like, if it's mentioned on the show, it feels like fair game for y'all to go ahead.
And
what's up with that? Yeah, what was that about?
But I bet they certainly cast people like that because obviously that is a huge audience. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, we want people to watch this. Don't you think?
It's also a huge, to my understanding, it's a huge part of the country. And yes. If you're casting in Ohio, I have to imagine that many of them would be Trumpy.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't really have like Love is Blind Los Angeles and Love is Blind New York City. Yeah. Right. So
I also think, although a lot of people end up being influencers anyway, I'm like, I think New York and LA specifically would be even more, you think? But then again, they find them anywhere. No, even more influencery. I think that's why they don't do it in like the liberal hotspots. But I feel like they end up getting it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? You get them in 100%, Ohio.
Yeah, they end up getting it anyway. So I sped through the reunion, and also Netflix put out this handy dandy, wonderful article about the top moments at the reunion. So the first one that I did see was Amber walking off the stage mid-conversation with Jordan. So Amber and Jordan were a couple that we really believed in. Like, we were like, oh, we think they're gonna go to the distance. Like, great. Amber has a child. Jordan's this husky type, golden retriever type of guy. Amber's this really skinny blonde white lady.
Sure.
And she has a baby, and we're like, oh yeah, that couple makes a lot of sense. Like, sure. They're not together. They told us at the reunion, and we were surprised. We were like, oh, we said, well, how long did your marriage last? 4 months. Then they started getting into the here's all the issues that we had in our relationship. It sounded messy. And then Amber does this thing where she gets really upset that Jordan didn't say goodbye to her child when he left. And I'm like, I get that. And she jumps up and runs off the stage, and she's like, don't come into my life if that's what you were planning to do. Pretty much saying he was wrong for how he handled the child situation because he knew that she had a child, and if he wasn't ready, then he shouldn't have come into her life. Baby, you're the one that went onto a show where you marry someone that you've never seen, and you've only known them for 3 months or less. 10 weeks, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're the one that put your child in this really weird, precarious situation. It's not up to Jordan. You put your child in this very not good parenting situation, I hate to say.
And we've seen people keep their children protected on Love is Blind before. So I'm like, I'm obviously this filmed probably before she could see that, but you could protect your I'm thinking of last season specifically. And I'm saying last season.
I'm thinking a few seasons ago though. Remember,
I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, okay. So we also have a preset of you can keep your kids shielded, and I do think in some ways you should keep your kids shielded from people who, because kids love stability, not even love, need stability. And so if you aren't sure that this person is going to be in your life, I think keep them a little bit separate. And then yes, you can't be mad when they're like, oh, because of course if I met you behind a wall, it's easy for me to tell you I'm ready to be a dad behind a wall before I actually see your kid and get around your kid. And then I'm like,
what I mean?
Actively, no.
And the issue didn't even seem to be with the kid. It seemed like Jordan was fine with the kid. It seemed like they just had different understandings and expectations around love, marriage, and relationships. Amber has this moment where she's like, I didn't understand why you didn't want to move in. Mind you, Amber lived 45 minutes outside of the city. Jordan lived directly in the city. Amber didn't really want to move because her kid and her kid's baby daddy were both where she lives. Her kid's school, her kid's baby daddy, they were both where she lives. So she thought that Jordan should move in with her. Jordan didn't want to be too far from his friends. He didn't want to be too far outside of the city and all type of stuff.
Fair.
And like, I really do think as a society, we put a lot on romantic relationships and not enough on friendship. And so Jordan, to me, not wanting to be too far from his community makes sense to me. And then, but it also makes sense that Amber's like, yeah, but I want, both things make sense. But Amber was trying to play him out like, so, you want to be close to your friends? Yeah, I want to be close to my friends. Do you have any other questions?
I just met you. I have known them for years. They are my community. I'm trying to bring you into my community.
Exactly.
But yes, because like, who am I supposed to go to? Because like, don't people when they move for a partner, this is why you shouldn't do that. It's because then you are isolated in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I'm not saying that she is trying to isolate this man.
No.
But like, that is a tactic that like manipulators use on people. I'm not saying that's what she's doing. But I'm like, yeah, because you isolate them and they have no one but you. So like, yes, it is important for him to be like, I need my people around me. You know what I mean?
100%. And even if the intention isn't to isolate, that is sometimes what ends up happening. Like that person feels isolated and then they end up resenting you or over depending on you. You know what I mean? And if she's a mom and she also has this man who is over dependent on her, she doesn't really have the space for an over dependent man. You know what I mean? Like there was just a lot. I feel like she tried to play him a little bit and he stood very strong in his decision and all the decisions that he made. He was like, I'm so sorry that I didn't say bye to her. I don't know how to handle this. Like, this is my first time, dealing with something like this. I don't know what I was supposed to do. I'm sorry, whatever. And you could tell Amber really wanted to play victim, Of
course she did.
And he just like wasn't quite playing into it, and I appreciated that. So then we come to,
I do have a side note. Why do they have such a large audience for Love is Blind reunions? Like, is that necessary? Like, I feel like this is the only reunion show I'm thinking of that has it, like, in like a stadium seating style audience. You know what I mean? This feels like a big audience for what feels like, why is this a thing? Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why it's a thing. But this year, this reunion was special because the entire audience was made up of former Love is Blind participants. So it was 150 former Love is Blind participants in the audience this year.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm not sure. I guess they probably are like, yeah, why is there so many people here? We should fill this with people who actually make sense to be here. So they did. And they spent a lot of time in the audience asking them questions and having them ask the current cast members questions. It was like a lot. And I was like, I don't care about none of that. And then we came to the moment with Bri and Connor. So Bri and Connor were a contentious couple this season because Bri is portrayed, I don't want to say exactly who this lady is, but she is portrayed as quite a pick-me. Like, it is not looking good for Bri. I was like, ooh, babe, I hope that's not who you really are, because that is ugly. And Connor was just like, he was letting too much go. It was not good. So, and they just weren't a good fit. Like, Bri seemed more interested in this guy, Chris, and Connor just seemed oblivious that any of it was going on at all. And Chris definitely was more interested in Bri as well. And so they had this weird thing going on behind Connor's back. Like, it was like a whole thing. Nobody thought they were going to be together. They are still together. They did not get married at the altar, but they are together and they've been together and they're trying to make it work. And she was like, oh, where do you see this Vanessa was like, where do you see this relationship going? And Bri was like, to the altar, like, obviously this is my person. I hate when people say this is my person. It is such a cliche, lame, like, oh my God. Speaking of, I just saw a list of things that a bride made a list on TikTok of things that her husband cannot say in his vows. Okay. So how people have a do not play playlist for their wedding? Yes, I have one where I'm like, don't play. I don't want to hear Bruno Mars for the most part. You can play Silk Sonic, but you cannot play Bruno Mars. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Well, this is a side tangent. My cousin last year, she got married, and she had Kendrick was on her do not playlist because she was like team Kendrick, right. And so and then obviously the dance floor was getting jumping, and they played They Not Like This, and she literally stopped. She was dancing, that came on, and she walked over to the thing and said, cut it. And he did.
Cut it. It's my wedding. Hello? Did you not get my do not? I'm paying a bunch of money. This is going to go exactly how I wanted to. Yeah. Okay? Thank you very much.
God, Marley, you do better. You Team Drake over that. It was funny. I was like, and also that song it doesn't matter. But yeah. But so yes, I'm familiar with a do not play. But a do not vow list. So there's a do not play. Yeah.
So and then this girl on TikTok made a list of things that her man cannot say in his vows. And one of them is, you're my person. And another one was we've been through ups and downs.
Oh,
And
sure.
another one was you're my best friend. Like, like all of them
Just
are
like
just like
platitudes.
cliche.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
don't mean anything. Everybody says them. They've lost all meaning. It's just like you heard somebody say it one time and I also hate you're my person. That one has always been like, shut up. Ew.
That is so funny to me. Yeah, I get it. It's like when I hear it, I don't think I thought of it, but you're right. It's a nothing burger of a like, am I also? What does that mean?
You're my person.
Like, and also because I'm like, that doesn't say anything to me. It doesn't tell me that you love me. It doesn't tell me that like I'm strong. I'm your rock. Like even rock is also like a platitude, but that feels more. That tells me something about myself. You're my person. Literally says nothing. But
you are literally saying you're a person. That's what I hear.
It's
right, you're a
saying,
person.
I own you. Yeah, like yeah. But like the other weird thing is like, particularly in the context of this couple, if she's just like a pick me, the fact that I'm saying you're my person is less about you and it's just more of like I want to be married and you are currently the person that is filling that spot.
That's kind of what it gave.
Like,
that is kind of what it gave.
Like.
So that was weird. And then they get to Chris. And Chris was probably public enemy number 1 in this season. Chris is a little man with a little man complex. He turns switches on and off depending on who he's talking to. It's insane actually to watch. So he was coupled up with a woman named Jess. And Jess is a doctor. And I don't know what the heck Chris does. And he essentially tells Jess, who is stunning, mind you, size 6 max, probably a size 4 if I'm being honest, but she's a size 6 maximum. Chris tells Jess, yeah, I'm just not physically attracted to you. You don't work out. Like you don't do Pilates. Like I'm just not.
He was like, I'm usually more attracted to girls who work at blah blah. And I'm like, I'm literally a doctor. I'm saving lives. Like I'm not. Fuck you. Yeah, I remember this. Like what? Like,
yeah, he's like, I'm not physically attracted to you. And then he starts talking about how he's so attracted to Bri, who is coupled up with Connor, the woman who just said he doesn't tell Jess this, but he tells Bri this. He goes and grabs Bri and is like, yeah, like, and he's so mean when he's talking to Bri. He's talking to a group of 3 other girls, Bri and 2 other girls, I can't remember who. And he's so mean when he's talking to them. He's like, yeah, she just like doesn't do Pilates. And like, I know that like eventually when you get married, you won't always be attractive to your partner won't always be attracted to you, but like I'm 30, like I want to be attracted to my partner. Like she doesn't even do Pilates. Like what is she doing all this? And Bri's pick me self is sitting there with this big grin on her face. Yeah, you just want someone who works out. Yeah, I played soccer. Yeah, you just want someone. Mind you, Bri and Jess are easily the same size. Easily the same size. And if I had to guess, and I'm not even trying to be shady at all, Bri is a little bigger. You know what I mean? So I'm like, so what are we talking about? Well, what is it that we're talking about?
It's crazy to me. Like, it is crazy, and it's not that these like men like this exist. People like this exist because I feel like there are women who also are like, I basically want men for muscles. But it's just it's crazy because it feels like such a character. Like I'm like, this isn't a real.
It's like
human.
not
Like,
real.
oh. But unfortunately, lots of people like I think back to like guys. And you would think they would grow out of it. When I think of guys in college, like some of my fraternity brothers would be like, oh, this girl's so hot, and I'm like, is she or is she just thin?
Skinny.
Thin and blonde.
That's it.
Like I'm like literally this girl's just blonde and thin, and there's like nothing else to it. And like and I'm like, it's just I guess it's just like the magazines of it all. Like we've been inundated with like hot, thin,
very much brainwashed,
quote unquote, hot, 100% thin blonde ladies, and I'm like, I guess like she's kind of there.
You know what else? Is brainwashing people, that red pill content, and Chris also had that going on. So Chris was also when he was pulling Bri and trying to convince Bri that Connor was not really her quote unquote person, he's like, Connor's too submissive. You need. I would
alpha,
never
you
submit.
Need an alpha.
I would never submit. You're more of an alpha. You need an alpha. Connor's way too submissive for you. Like
Bri, listen to that, because if he's saying you're an alpha, you need an alpha, and I will never submit. He's telling you right now that your personality is more dominant, and I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to fight all the time. Like that logic doesn't even make sense.
And Bri doesn't. To be fair, Bri doesn't end up with him. So I guess she doesn't go for it, but she definitely sits there and entertains that conversation for way too long. Doesn't defend Jess at all, and it's disgusting to me. So I'm like, yeah, I don't mess with Bri. I don't mess with Bri at all, and everybody hates Chris a lot. Nick Lachey was dragged. I ain't never seen Nick Lachey drag somebody before at a reunion. Nick Lachey had his hand all in Chris's scalp was dragging him by his scalp. I said, get him, Nick. That's what I'm talking about.
Funny.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Chris and not Rock.
Hello.
Like, exactly.
Very much that. Jess ends up, she told us that she is in a relationship with her own doctor, period. Oh, no, wait.
Love that.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. She's dating a hot doctor.
Okay.
But you also, I'm pretty sure all the boys that we don't know their jobs, they all work in finance. I think that red pill content, that is also something they all do. So, like, of course, Chris is in, I'm putting quotations, in finance. Like,
100%.
Sure. Okay. Whatever that means.
Very much. and then we have public enemy number 2, Alex. Okay. Alex and Ashley were a couple on the show. When they get to the vow section, Ashley says, I know what your answer is going to be. I know your answer would be no. And here's why I'm saying no to you. And then lists out this long thing. This is also the same couple where her dad grills Alex. Yeah. And it's like, who'd you vote for? And Alex goes, I didn't vote, but I would have voted for Trump. And the dad goes, that's a cop out. Like, you're just trying to butter me up. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like, that's my guy. I would have voted for Trump. That's what I would have done. It's disgusting. And I'm like, I hate Alex and Ashley. Okay, bet you guys are nasty.
It makes me, I get that we are in California, so like obviously we don't run into as many loud, proud Trump supporters, but it just drives me. I'm like, how can you be proud of like what? Sorry, we're not. This is a politics show, but I'm just like, it's crazy to me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I need you to have some level of shame, some level of like, I didn't want to do that, but I did, because like I don't like that either. But I'm like, to me that makes more sense in my brain, where you're like, I don't like him, but I voted for him anyway. I'm like, I need you to have some level of shame. And the fact that
they'd be like, yeah.
But Alex is also sketch, because like his timeline doesn't make sense. None of his things make sense.
So you know what? So here's the thing. So I obviously don't like Alex at all. Don't like Ashley either. You're a Trumpy girl. He's a Trumpy boy. I don't like neither of you. I will say Alex was kind of eating her up at the reunion, in my opinion. Like, it feels like they was trying to come for Alex real hard. Like they kept being like, stuff doesn't add up. He said, point something out that didn't add up. Because Nick Lachey was like, your story was kind of all over the place. He said, specifically what? Nick said, well, when, what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Straight like that. And then Ashley says something similar. She's like, like you just lied. He said, point out a lie. She's well, and then the goalpost starts moving around. The goalpost is moving now. Now the goalpost is shifting. Y'all got me defending this trash Trumpy man, because I don't like when people try to make something into something else. If you simply don't like him, I simply don't like him. I don't need there to be any other reason other than the fact that you are trash and you voted for Trump and I don't like you. That's enough. But y'all are trying to make him into this big fat liar. When it's like, he not? Because I'm like, it's not clear that he is. It's not clear that he's not either, but it's not clear that he is. And he keeps saying, so point out the lie. And nobody's able to point it out. That's my time. That's my thing. You know what I mean? He keeps being like, when did I lie? And nobody said nobody could give a time when he lied.
Well, where is it coming from? Is my thought.
They feel like, so Vanessa was like, okay, well, because they're all trying to get him and he's not really getting got too easily. So then Vanessa jumps in and she's like, okay, well, what I'm saying, I'm just trying to talk to you like a person. And I'm trying to say, it seems like your defenses were just up. It seems like your defenses never came down. Yeah. Okay, so which one is it? Is it a lie?
My defenses are up because like you were telling me that I'm lying. And I'm saying, well, what do you need me to clear up?
She's saying on the show overall, you never dropped your walls. She's like, the issue is you never dropped your walls. Okay, so is the issue that you never dropped your walls or that he was lying? Which one is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going all over the place.
On camera. Yeah, I'm like, maybe I'm just uncomfortable here. Okay, I'm like, this is me, because like, again, I need to dive into this season. I've only seen it through clips. And one clip from him was like that his work history was strange, and he like moved to Australia. I'm like, people are just like, he's all over the place, and that is why I was like, but you're saying it is clear. It makes sense.
And he was in fact all over the place. That like he actually was in practice all over the place. You know what I mean? So
it's not that
it's confusing. Exactly, it is confusing, but that's not to say that he was necessarily a liar. And if he was a liar, he probably wouldn't have said that he would vote for Trump on national TV if he had some brain cells. You know what I mean?
But
so
also
I'm
you don't have to have brain cells to be a liar. But
you know what I mean? Right.
I think the other thing, the people were like, they knew he wasn't getting married because the way he showed up at that altar, his beard was unkempt, his hair was half done. It was just very funny that was like, it is clear you're not. Oh my God,
I've spent way too much time talking about Love Is Blind. I thought that this was gonna be quick.
This is becoming a Love Is Blind reunion, baby.
No, truly, it's like a whole thing. I'm gonna make this quick. And then we just had Devo or Devonte with an A at the end. You know, he also wasn't letting Britney get away with the victim behavior either. And while I didn't like the way that he treated her in a relationship, I will say Britney is too obsessed with the idea of being a wife more than she is with who she's married to. And so she was willing to put in, which a lot of women,
common, no?
Very, very, very common have that experience. And even at the reunion, Devonte says, I came in here wanting to be a wife, a husband, and a father. So even him, you know what I mean? Like, people don't go in being like, I hope I find someone I like. People go in being like, I hope I come out of this married. What?
I guess I literally don't. I have no. It's hard for me to relate to that at all. But I know a lot of people feel the same way about like being a parent and all those things. And I'm like, the thought, like I have no sense of. But even like marriage, like both of those things seem like fine to me. Being a parent, I don't want to do. I could do it. Being married is like, okay. Both of those things, I just literally and this might be a flaw of mine. I cannot imagine being connected to a human. I don't have the desire to be that connected to any human ever. Like, I'm like, I don't, not so bad that like that is my purpose in life. It's to like be married to someone or to be someone's parent. I'm like, I just cannot fathom desiring connection that much.
Wanting that thing. Like, I get wanting the connection. I really do get wanting the connection. I can't fathom wanting the title that bad. Like, I'm like, the connection can come without the title. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's super weird that you're like, I want to be a wife.
Why?
Okay. But do you care who fills the slot of husband, or does it not matter as long as you get the title of wife? That's what it gives.
And I'm like, it's so weird. I'm like, what does it matter? What does being a wife mean? What does it matter if it sucks? You know what I mean?
It's very weird. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And people think that people are willing to be a wife even if it sucks, as long as I'm a wife.
Ooh,
you know?
God.
Yeah, and I find that weird personally.
Yeah,
I've never identified with that. But I do identify with wanting to be a mom. But that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That's it. Oh, and then Devo announced that he has a baby on the way, and Britney didn't know about it. You could tell she was hurt because, you know, she wanted to be married. I'm sure she wanted to be a mom and yada yada.
Now he's doing that with somebody else. Yeah.
And thank God, because would you want your kids to look like that? Sorry, that was unnecessarily mean. Okay, well, that's it for the Love Is Blind section of the show.
I love that. But also, speaking of wanting more kids, I mean, and being a parent, Kylie Jenner is in the news recently for an interview she did with Vanity Fair, where she's like, more kids are not off the table. Kylie Jenner is on a defending Timothée Chalamet run, if I will. I'm going to quickly go down a list of things she's done. He got in hot water for his comments about ballet and opera. Doja Cat made a video at which she has recently walked back her comments on. But on that video, Kylie is like, hey, calm down, LOL. SNL made a sketch about it, and she like Kylie sarcastically responds, this is so funny. There's also a clip of Timothée Chalamet. He's like in China doing press over there, and he's like serving tofu. And she replies, iconic. She seems very like obsessed and in love with Timothée Chalamet and happy with their relationship.
I'm happy for her.
I am too. They seem like they were an odd pair, and there's a part of my brain that's like, it didn't make sense. But the more I see of them, and the more Timmy has this kind of like, they seem to have more similar energy than I thought they would. And I'm like, they make way more sense than I thought.
Agreed.
But they've been dating since 2023. 3 years of dating, which is crazy in my brain. I forgot they've been dating that long.
They're starting to exit the realm of PR relationship timeline.
That is what happened to me. I'm like, oh, you guys seem... And also the fact that, like, I feel like we see... They've been dating for 3 years, and I feel like we see them together few and far between. Like, I don't think they are constantly out and about together. It's only at award shows that we really see them, but the fact that it's still going, I'm like, oh, I think you have some real connection here. But yeah, they started dating after she broke up with Travis Scott in 2023. They shared 2 kids together. Stormy, who is 8, which also where the fuck is the time
Stormy's
gone?
8?
8
Whoa.
years old. I know, kind of actively crazy. And then Is it Air or Irie? I forget how they pronounce his name.
I think it was Air, but maybe I made that
Air.
up.
I know.
I
I'm
thought
trying
it was
to remember.
Air, but I might
Also,
have
there
made
was a
that up.
time. Wasn't there like a brief second when everyone thought the baby's name was Wolfie or Wolf? It was something crazy. I remember like
Wasn't
for a
it?
hot second.
I thought it was. I thought it was,
Oh,
and then
they
they
legally
changed it. But I might have made that up too.
Kylie baby number 2 is 4 years
right.
old, which is also crazy to me to think that like her and Travis Scott's son is 4 years old now. But yeah, in the interview, they also then asked Kylie about like, how is parenting? What do you feel about that? And she like says that she's thinking of having more kids in the future. In quote, in the last years of my 20s, I want to focus on just me, my business, my work, and traveling with my kids and ... and enjoying my kids, she says, and ... Then I want to have more kids. So that obviously became like the headline. And people are like wondering if her and Timothy will have kids together. Timothy, in an interview last year, and like it was like November 2025, he was talking about how he didn't want kids, and like he was reflecting on that and thinking like, I don't want to rule that off the table. And he was like, marriage is something I definitely want in the future. He does not specifically name Kylie as the person he is wanting to marry, but well, I mean, I don't think he was saying I want to marry her, but he was just like, oh yeah, marriage, kids is on the table for me.
Sure.
But the fact that they're 3 years in, she's not saying I want to have more kids in the future. He's like opened his mind to having kids of his own and being married. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that these two get married and have kids, and I would be happy for this. This is like the tethered version of Zendaya and Tom Holland. Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like they're
it is. Yes, no, it is. It totally, absolutely feels like the tether of Zendaya and Tom Holland. Wow.
Because I would kind of love that. Kind of funny.
Which means that they would definitely have a baby first before they get married.
This is, how, because Kim Kardashian was competing with Beyonce. This is Kylie competing with Zendaya.
Whoa.
And she is like, kids? Bet. Well, hold on. Let's just say, so they're secretly getting married. Timmy, get in the fuck. Hey, we're having children.
Always repeats itself. Wow.
And I'm like, I kind of love that idea that they're like, we're going to get into this booth. Not in the booth. We're going to get into the studio and we are going to make sure that we have a kid. We're going to also run press around being married.
100%. Okay.
Zendaya popped up with her wedding ring. Like, she was walking around Louis Vuitton and like, she tried to cover up her rings with a couple of other silver rings, but it's there.
Yeah.
And I really do. My tin hat is on. Part of me still thinks this is all press for that fucking movie, The Drama. I really am not. I'm not ruling it out. And that, like, the fact that we haven't seen wedding photos and neither of them have been like, yes, we are actually married. I am not ruling it out that this is all a clever way for Zendaya to promote her movie.
A clever
Which, I mean, I would kind of love. I would kind of love a clever rue, if you will, which is a different show.
And Euphoria is coming back very soon.
And did you see Zendaya also did not do press with?
She not doing
There's
press
that video of her,
Sydney
Alex
Sweeney.
Demi, I can't remember that girl's name, Apatow, and then Hunter, I believe, is in it. And
Hunter
Sydney
Schaefer,
Sweeney,
yeah.
Hunter Schaefer's there, and Sydney Sweeney is nowhere to be seen. She said, "I
Period.
will not
I
do
won't.
press with
You
that
won't.
one."
Period.
And what will you do?
Nothing.
Sit that
Absolutely
lady off
nothing.
to the
When
side.
the Beyonce of Disney Channel, of New Disney, says, I'm not doing impressed with you,
You're not.
that's it. I'm just not. Yeah. So, I mean, you're
That's
out.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay. You know who else is in the acting world now?
Who?
One Miss Billie Eilish may be making her film acting debut. Deadline reports that Billie is in, quote, advanced talks to star in the film adaptation of Sylvia Plath's 1963 novel, The Bell Jar. Billie would indeed play the lead role of Esther Greenwood, a woman struggling with her mental health after taking a job at a magazine in New York City. Billie made her TV acting debut back in 2023 with the Prime Video series Swarm, and she was fantastic. I must say.
forgot she was in that because it was like the main character like goes to this house and they're like all like aren't they like in
It's like a cult.
a cult like a culty. Billie was really good in that.
She was great.
Excited to see her do this. I think even her music has a very theatrical tone to it, so her leaning into acting actually makes a lot of sense.
And her for this role in particular makes so much sense. Did you read The Bell Jar?
I have not read it, but I'm familiar with it, and like
Yeah.
it is a dark novel, and so I'm saying like Billie has that. Her aesthetic, her vibe, her music, her like the way she emotes is very in that moody, dark energy. So I feel like this is a perfect alignment for her. You've read The Bell Jar, though.
100%.
Did you have to read it in high
we had
school?
to read it. We had to read it in high school. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I remember in the ending was insane. Like the movie. I mean, I won't ruin it. I know that it's obviously an iconic novel and most people know the ending, but in case you don't,
for a
right, in case you
60-year-old
don't, I won't ruin it for you in case you want to get into the, you know, classic book of it all.
And
but
actually,
read it. Do read it.
Read.
But it is tragic.
Yeah. Yes,
don't audiobook it. Read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, and also just read a book. We're in a literacy crisis right now, so like, I love that this is Billie doing her job, the Lord's work, and being like, we're getting more kids to read. I'm telling you now that I'm in this movie, 100%. that I'm gonna make my acting debut, so you can pick up the book first, and then can watch the movie. You know what's coming.
Read it with your eyes. Go read Wuthering Heights. Go read The Bell Jar. All the classic movies.
Wuthering Heights is
novels.
Very bad, or not bad book. It's a toxic. Like, it's a torturous, toxic story.
I have not read Wuthering Heights, but I have heard, and I am familiar. So.
It is. It's different than what, like, I'm like, it's when they were making the movie, I'm like, well, I forget they've made it several times, but I'm just like, this is a dark book for this.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm excited for Billie Eilish. I agree. I think she would make a great actress, or has been a great actress, and I think this is a good role for her. They didn't give like a release date. This is all just like early stages developing.
And advanced talks doesn't really mean anything. Sorry. Advanced talks doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, they could at any moment be like, yeah, so we're actually gonna go with Barbie. What's her name?
Oh, Barbie Ferreira or
no.
Margot Robbie is what you're saying.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
you know, as a joke. You know, we're going to go with Margot Robbie.
Actually, we're going to go with Sydney Sweeney.
You know what I mean? We're actually going to do Sydney. Yeah, I think she'd be really good. She'll bring like
Jeff
a certain...
Bezos decides to
very much. Don't let it be on Prime Video, child.
Actually, I think we're thinking Sydney Sweeney.
We're going to put Sydney. She just needs a little bit more vocal fry. That is exactly what Esther Greenwood needs. Just a little bit more vocal fry.
Yes,
so.
Esther Green, a New York writer, needs a little bit more vocal fry.
Exactly.
I kind of love that.
Yep.
Oh my God, I think that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to follow us on all of our social pages at Freshly Popped. We love keeping this conversation going, so keep it coming on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are listening right now, and don't forget to rate us 5 stars, and we will see you all tomorrow, everybody. You've been popped.